I'm Steph.
And I'm Meg.
And you're listening to the Slowly Stitched podcast where we talk all things conscious fashion.
I'm buzzing about this episode because Steph and I have literally just come back from Milan Fashion Week. Can you believe it? And really, honestly, this was a trip of a lifetime. It's completely changed how we think about our clothes and wardrobes and actually different cultures. While our other episodes, as you know, this season have really unpacked sort of the materials, labour, upcycling and sustainability, this one will highlight the end point of the fashion cycle. So how clothes can function in the real world. Milan for us and Milan Fashion Week represents that formal structure, that fashion system, but embedding ourselves into Milan streets showed us how fashion can work as an individual expression meeting everyday function.
Milan will always be such a pivotal trip for both Meg and I, and that's why you're tuned into episode 14, Postcards from Milan, where we will unpack functional individuality and how it can inspire us all to look differently at our clothes.
You know where we're starting because you're always going to...
We'll go for... No.
Okay.
Today, I'm putting my foot down.
Oh.
And you'll go first because... Hello, Inspector What was that? What did we study at GC?
How the
Inspector calls. So
yeah, Inspector calls, isn't it?
Inspector calls. You're embodying that. So
yeah,
what is your fashion feeling today, Meg? I love it.
I'm bringing Italy to London, the streets of London. When we thought about this outfit, we said we wanted to wear something that we wore in Milan. Yeah. And I think I wore this on the last day.
Yes,
and when I think about Milan, black does come to mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, Steph, oh my God, I've worn black for like another episode. But she was like, it's so different because it is. Milan gives structure, it gives suits, it gives that kind of unisex feeling. So I was like, I want to look like a boss babe and I want it to be really structured and really put together. So I'm wearing this kind of like black suit. They're not actually a suit, they're from different places, but this is from Reserved. Reserved have the best trousers. I've had these for 6 years and I've never been able to find anything similar.
So black.
They are still so black. They wash really well and they literally come up to my hip and they are beautiful in terms of how they are pleated. This is actually my mum's blazer. This is like an old Celine blazer and my mum's had it even longer than I have. And the way it fits, it is that boyish, like boyfriend kind of style. The shoulders are a little bit dropped. And again, the fact that it's older than me, it washes so well and it kind of matches. You can't really tell the differences of black. And then to do something different, I wanted to wear a scarf when we were in Milan. Steph told me I was doing too much because it just took away from it being so structured. Yeah. So I went for just a normal silver chain just to kind of separate it. It's kind of flirty. I've got this, I hope I'm not flashing, but I've got this like lace corset on, if you can see it. It just really adds a different texture. And I've gone for this hat. This hat used to be my model hat. I used to wear it to shoots when I was like 13. So again, this is almost 15 years old, and I would wear it to shoot. So I've gone for an all black, and these are just Zara boots, and they are like my mum also used to have ones that were like this, but again the structure kind of adds to it. And I got my jewelry back on, yay. So that's kind of what I went for, and I just loved it. And this outfit just stood out so much on the streets of Milan. Like I got so many compliments from it, and the photographers were loving it when we went to Giorgio Armani. And I said, you know what, yeah, I hear it, because something about black gives luxury as well. If you do it well and it's tailored well. So my fashion feeling today is really giving Milano. So that's my fashion feeling today. Stephanie, what is your fashion feeling today? Because this is one of my favorite, if not one of your best fits ever. Like genuinely.
Damn.
This is cold and you know it.
Thank you. Yeah. I do feel like a bad bee.
You look
this fit.
Incredible.
Thank you.
You looked incredible in Milan and you look incredible here. You always look incredible, but this is tea.
Thank you. I just feel like, we're in autumn, so wanted to be very autonomous with the tones. And I feel like in Milan, a lot of the street style that we saw, there was such an emphasis on accessories, whether it was like sunglasses, hats, scarves, shoes, jewelry. So I kind of wanted that to take center stage with this fit. So I've got like my big ring that I love.
Gorgeous.
I've got my guilty purchase that I made in Milan, these gorgeous Loewe sunglasses. I think They're just stunning.
Wow.
It's like Y2K but modern, but Steph, you know.
And we were saying they kind of look upside down, don't
they? Look upside down.
So
It's
cool.
like, I like things that are a little bit weird, so I feel like it really fits my style. And then I've just paired it with this brown top, which is from Meg. These gorgeous, like, long shorts, like wool shorts. And then I've got Stephanie J's on the feet, because I think the pop of white just adds a little bit of, I don't know what the Italian version of Zenith Aquaria is, but we're just going to say.
Yeah, this is awful. We actually had, I promise you guys, we had way more Italian words than this.
But it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. But I just think, Milan's very elevated. Like you said, very structured, clear lines. And that's what we really wanted to embody today as we talk about our incredible experience in Milan. So
let's start from the beginning. So Steph, tell everyone, like, how did Milan come around? Obviously we were there for Milan Fashion Week, but what were we actually doing?
Yeah, so Meg and I were talking like a few months, I can't even remember when it was, maybe like
beginning of summer, maybe?
Yeah, maybe like June, July time. And we were like, do you know what? We've got this incredible podcast, but like, how can we push it further? Like, so that we're involving ourselves in more wider fashion conversations and just going to like fashion weeks and just seeing what stories are being told, where fashion's going, how it reflects society, all that good stuff. I've always loved fashion weeks. I've been to quite a few now, like from when I was younger. So we were like, let's try and go to London Fashion Week this year. So we did a little bit of research on LinkedIn and we found a company called Fashion Week Studio, who are essentially like the production company.
Yeah.
They put on all the shows, right? Guys, it literally started from a LinkedIn message. I reached out to one of the
production officers,
I think it was
something?
like chief curator officer, something like that. Reached out, essentially said what Meg and I do, and we'd love to come along and like take content, you know, write some articles and just have more like cultural conversations around fashion.
Yeah.
She replied, was like, yes, of course, I would love that. Put me in touch with someone else. Amazing Sonia. We were talking on WhatsApp. And then she said that they're not doing London Fashion Week for September. We were like, oh no. But she was like, we are doing Milan and Paris shows, so feel free to come. So me and Meg were like, do you know what?
Should we do it?
Should we do it?
Are we going to do it?
Let's do it.
And we were like, yep.
We were kind of like, do we want to do Paris or do we do Milan? I'd never been to Milan before. And I feel like we'd both been to Paris quite recently. So we were like, do you know what? Let's go to Milan. And then the rest is history. That's how we got there.
Yeah.
Just from one DM on LinkedIn.
And I think one of the things, obviously, we'll go on to talk about why it's so significant. I think Steph and I didn't realise just like how much has gone on in 9 months.
Yeah.
Many of you don't probably know. And if this is your first episode, Steph and I, as much as we're joint to the hip, we actually didn't know each other before January. And that also started with the power of social media and one message, one connection, one video. And equally, we turned around the planning stages of this pod to execution in 4 weeks, something like that.
Weeks, yeah.
And I think so many people spend a lot of time in their planning modes rather than their execution modes.
100%.
The reason people are doers is because they act in terms of let's deliver at the best possible version that we possibly can so that we can learn. Yeah. And I think one of the main things that will always stick with me when we first started this is Steph saying that we need to look almost at our wardrobes and our style like science. And I think this is what we've been doing with the pod. Like, it's not just us having conversations, it's us learning how we can communicate these stories, these experiences better. And I think Milan was like, it is attainable, actually. People, it's just round the corner. Like, these things, if you really believe in yourself, believe in your brand, believe in your vision, then you will invest in it. And I think this was like the first time since like filming that we both said, we're going to make this investment. We're going to go. Yeah. It's taking time out. It takes a little bit of money out. Like, obviously, we are pressed. There's things that were covered for us. But it was like, we're actually doing this. We're going to put our money and our time where our mouth is. And that's what's been so incredible, because there were actually low expectations and the trip surpassed our expectations. And I think this is just a message to anyone. Like, I know people always say it, like, if you've got something, don't wait until tomorrow, but do it. Your journey as a curator is to learn on the go. Like, storytellers don't necessarily always know the end of the story. They write until they get there. Yeah. You need to think about yourself that way as well. Like, the more you go, the more you do, the closer you get to that journey. And I think this was really broaden our horizons. Like, we're so excited coming back. Yeah. Steph and I have probably spoken every minute of every day for the past like 10 days straight, definitely. And it's just caused us to not only become better friends, but just like to push ourselves more as individuals. Like, I'm here to hold you accountable and you're also here to hold me accountable, but this is so much bigger than us. And I think that's why Milan will always hold so much grace, and how something so simple as sending a message can change your life.
100%. And that's why we really wanted to go as well, not just to look at, you know, the amazing fashion shows and the runways, but something that Meg and I did a lot actually was just people watching.
So much
We'll
fun.
get onto that.
This sounds
later.
so mad, just saying like, yeah, we just sat and watched people. No,
we did, but what it did, it really gave us a real insight into real people in Milan and their stories and how culture can affect the way that you dress, because there were a lot of differences.
Yeah, massive
differences, and we felt it was really important to include that in this season. It was kind of a last minute change because, again, like, the function of clothes isn't just the materials or the people that make it or the environmental impacts. Actually, it's like, what is the function of it in your life as well? How can it reflect you and your emotions and what you're going through? Like, how can it be that comforting hug for you? You know, like, having that function in your life, it kind of goes beyond the physical.
Yeah, which I love. And, you know, when we were planning this, we were like, how does this kind of come in? And what do we mean by postcards? I think it's about sharing our takeaways and actually that functionality that we don't talk about. So instead of us, we could have come and really just dedicated this episode to the runways, what we saw, the designers, but we really felt like the insights from the real people, that kind of street style tapestry was the bit that was the most unique and really shows how clothes can live beyond just the catwalk. Yes, there were catwalks happening and there were designers who are world class, but some of the best looks that we saw weren't on the runway, they were literally on the streets. And we almost were like, the streets of Milan consistently just feel like a runway. And that's why we were like, oh my God, like it was like, you didn't need, you know, when you're with your mates, right, and time just passes. That's literally how it felt like in Milan. There was, I don't think we stopped watching people
we didn't.
at dinner, like at all. Like, there was just, it was
So
like we
much to
sat on
see.
this side of the street eating pasta and steak and having wine. It was just beautiful. But every second there was like groups of different types of people walking head to toe, things that were unique, things that stood out. Like, I will never forget that woman's blazer. I know I'm jumping, but like, there are moments like that we got for free. These were not bits that we paid for. These were not bits that we were getting paid to do. These weren't moments at work. There was no transaction from this. There was just present enjoyment. And I think that's why so many people love fashion, because it brings you into this other kind of universe. And I think the bit that we wanted to be able to kind of show you is those small snapshots. The fact that that person's shoes, a bag that was worn, like, they're loved, and the bold choice of colour that they might wear, or the perfectly functional jacket that has a little bit of like ash on it or a little bit of something on it, and how it's carried. Those conversations that your clothes show are way bigger than you think, because it's not just about how they make you feel, it's how they make other people around you feel. Because none of those people we spoke to, bearing in mind, I know we're talking now, we didn't speak to none of those people like at all. We didn't speak to a single one of them. And that's one of the things that we were like, wow, we were kind of sharing that narrative of what they were doing.
So Meg, should we hop in and talk about the trip? Should we start from the very, very beginning? How were the shows for you?
Oh, good question. I even forgot about that. Like, no, but the shows were amazing. Like, it was so, I haven't been to a fashion show for a very, very long time. Like, probably in my like early, like, young adult. I've not been probably since before I was like 18. And I've also never been to Milan Fashion Week, so I didn't know what to expect. And especially being on the other end where you're a model walking down and then being an observer, it was just very different for me. And I think it was so interesting from my point of view, seeing so many smaller brands and smaller designer shows sold out. Like, a lot of the shows that we went to were quite unique, quite curated shows of upcoming designers. And people didn't just care about kind of those big names or those big brands. It was like being able to choose to go to other shows. And that for me felt like an inspiration, because for up and coming designers, all you need is one shot. And being able to have a sold out show of people
An
coming
achievement,
must feel
amazing,
right? And there was someone from Australia, there was a Kurdish designer. Like, these are tend to be nationalities and cultures that often aren't shown actually in European fashion shows. Like, when you think about Milan, when you think about Paris or London, that is almost where all the designers are from. You do not see designers outside of like Italy, France, or the UK often at these shows. So having someone from Australia, which was incredible, that bridal thing that came down was just exceptional. And equally, I think it shows around people wanting more. I think we mentioned why it links to kind of sustainability and conscious. That must have been a conscious decision to put those brands in front of us. And equally, it's that idea around, actually, I would shop from different brands if I knew them. So for a consumer, now I know these brands, I'm like, oh my God, I would have never thought about them for potentially weddings and stuff. Now I remember saying to Steph, thinking, oh, might have a designer who I might want to make my dress. It's those things around being exposed. You don't know what you don't know. So I think that's my biggest takeaway from those shows around, actually, they have a purpose to educate. Shows used to be around putting people on, like platforming, almost like, you know, when you have like a gig and you have like an opening act, they're losing that touch. And I think that's what it gave me. What about you?
For me, it was the atmosphere. The atmosphere was...
Yeah, no, now you've mentioned it, 1000%.
Like what you said, I completely agree in terms of like just seeing up and coming designers and just knowing that there are other brands compared to the ones that we always see. But the atmosphere, I wish I could just bottle it in a jar and sell it, because on those days you need a little confidence boost or a little boost. That atmosphere was incredible. Everyone looked good, they felt good, and they felt good because they looked good. I feel like people really were dopamine dressing there, where it's like, I'm going to put my best outfit on because I know I'm going to be visible as well. Like, yes, the press are there, we are there to capture the shows, but of course all the people on front row are also in our content as well. So it's like people were aware of that and they wanted to put their best foot forward. And I think because of that, Meg and I had the most incredible conversations with different stylists from different countries, photographers, content creators, other fashion podcasters. It was amazing. And it really just taught me in that moment, like, wow, like clothing really is an activation tool.
Yes.
It really is a conversation starter, because people are like, oh my gosh, like, I love your jacket, or I love this denim look. And do you know what I mean? Like, that's how our conversations often started with these people.
Yeah.
And it's like, now we've made connections just based off
what we
wore. And that was really powerful for me. It's like, yes, we already knew that, we believed it, but I feel like we really, really felt it when we were there.
Yeah.
And actually, we've come back kind of looking at our own styles like, we need to be doing the most.
Yeah, no.
We're going to talk about it a bit more later, but we need to do the
real.
most, because why is it that we feel like we have to kind of limit ourselves? Because,
or make ourselves more palatable.
Right.
Why?
Or make ourselves smaller. We're going to talk about kind of like the cultural elements of that. But it was just mad, basically.
Yeah.
To summarize, it was the best. It, like you said, it exceeded our expectations. We didn't know what to expect, but it was so much better than I imagined.
I think the only other thing I'd add to that as well is, you know, we've always spoken to you all about like different careers that you can have in fashion. I think this was the one that I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Again, there's so much more that I don't know. I thought I knew a lot about fashion careers and opportunities, but again, seeing the production element of it, seeing like the event side of stuff, seeing the whole business and community element of like who should be in the room, like that whole element around comms, like I work in comms, PR, like all of those stuff. And I was just like, this is so interesting to see, because I would have never, ever have imagined that could be like a potential career outlet. And I think Steph and I were like, actually, we'd love to put on shows. We'd love to, how could we improve these experiences? Could we do fireside chats? Could we do really cool icebreakers in the room? Because I mean, it was happening naturally, but can you imagine if there were like curated activation stations, or where people could add to art, like people would draw things and actually the tapestry ends up becoming a two-piece by the end of it. Like there's art that's literally created from everyone's like names and their thoughts and feelings. So that's another thing, that your work and what you wear isn't just objective to you, and it isn't just stationary. It is this organic living thing that also has its own language without you saying anything, that is working your room for you. And equally, when people talk about like pretty privilege, really quickly, your clothes can do that for you. They really can, because I genuinely do think if we weren't dressed the way that we were, we probably wouldn't have had the conversations that we had.
100%.
And it just goes in terms of like, you never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
So always wear your Sunday best. And I think that's the cultural differences in Milan.
100%.
Like, there's no right or wrong occasion. Every day is a right occasion.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, every day you have the opportunity to find or tap into yourself even more. And the streets are just as much a runway as the actual shows, and I love that.
And I think just to quickly add on to what you said as well, I felt like the conversations we had didn't feel transactional.
Oh, yes. You remember when we were saying this?
Yeah. And I think the UK, particularly London, again, I'll speak
just for London.
For London, that's my direct experience, but sometimes it can feel very transactional when you go to events.
Hi, what are you doing?
It's just like, hi, what are you doing? Yeah, how many followers do you have? Like, yeah, like, let's follow each other.
And then boom, you exchange, and
that's it. But there, it's like you're having really interesting conversations about fashion, and then it happens to be like, oh, like, let's stay in touch. You know what I mean? It's like, there was an influencer that had like 170k or something from Paris, but like, she was so nice.
Oh,
like, she was so
sweet.
welcoming, like, hugged us, was like very interested in what we had to say. But sometimes in the UK, it can feel very much like,
you're not on my level.
If you're not on my level, I'm just not going to speak to you. But there, it felt so much more community led. And again, maybe because everyone's kind of dressed to the nines, but it's like not in a showy way. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like, this is just me.
Yeah.
It felt like, yeah, this is what it needs to be like. This is what networking should feel like. It shouldn't feel like transactional. What can you do for me? You know?
No, absolutely. Moving on to another part of our experience in Milan. I'm giggling because obviously Steph just mentioned that she's bought these amazing glasses. I also had some purchases, but I'm not going to talk about them because the more I talk about them, maybe I'll cry.
Yeah.
But it was such an incredible. So we had some experiences going into brands. We got to interview. It was part of our press tour, and we also got to try on a lot of the new collections. So we went to places like Loewe. We went to Burberry. We were in Chanel. We went into
Sandra that we didn't like.
Yeah,
that's a conversation.
And this is what we're going to get onto. Never shopping from there. But we also went into like Vivienne Westwood, and it was just, what it reminded me personally is that fashion can be experiences. And obviously, as a former CEO who's exited a company, I think who you hire and who you have in the front of your store is really important. Anyone that has been in luxury fashion and just even high-end high street, right? If you've ever been to, like, in the UK, Knightsbridge, or you've been to Regent Street or like Mayfair, there will feel like there's something different in the air. Like, obviously on the doors they have security that wear suits, like it is gated or whatever it is, or it is you're greeted and it's one in one out sort of thing. Like there is a whole other experience that you get with shopping. But then shopping as well as a I guess we're working middle class young professionals. Obviously, we have a lot more disposable income, so we can afford more of these things. Being a black young working professional and experiencing fashion will always feel different, because they either have their preconceived stereotypes and perceptions that they have around you, or equally there is just this presence that you're never alone. You know that saying where, like, if you're a black woman, you're never really alone. Yeah, you're never alone in them shops, and that's why Jill Sanders will never get our money. But the reason I say this is because I promise you, I didn't go in wanting to buy. Yeah, there were things that I wanted, but I was like, I want to look, and maybe if they work, then I will. But it was the experiences that I had. So shout out to Maya. I love you. I really do. And also shout out to Leonardo, because the time and the effort that you put in made it feel so collaborative. And it's activations like that every CEO, every brand owner should want. And I always say the reason that people invest, I'm an angel investor, and the main reasons that people invest is either in you specifically. So I might just love you, Steph. I've seen you online, and that's what a lot of these brands do. They tend to, like, Made by Mitchell. We love Mitchell, so we you know, we buy from him. And all of those kind of stuff. And even when we think about like Grace Beverly, we loved her, so we bought into the brand. That's what people do. They might just love you and they'll follow you wherever you go. They may love your mission, so the problem that it is that you're solving, whether it is you're trying to make more created pieces that speak, or whether when you started your shoes, you're trying to make really fashionable, sexy pieces for people that have wider feet. They might just love that problem that you're solving, so they invest in you. But the other thing that they might invest in is just your people, so your culture, or they invest in specifically your product. So if your product is amazing, Dyson, yeah, we know the story, but most people will literally just buy a Dyson because it's a Dyson, right? That's to do with the product, not even around him. And it's also to do with who you interact with your brand. The reason now I will always shop at Burberry and I will always shop at Loewe is because of the people that I interacted with. Yes, I love those pieces, but the experience, I could even buy something useless, but I will, because I'm like, the way that it made me feel, the little stitches it gave me in my own story is exactly what everyone would want. And it's just reminded me that in everything that you do, the people that you surround yourselves with will have an imprint in who you are. So we always say like, oh, you are who you surround yourself with, you are what you eat. It's exactly the same with the brands that you shop for. Actually, Jill Sanders, I would never, because of the way it made me feel. It probably makes other people feel that way. Why would I want to line pockets of
people that are following you around the shop
constantly?
When there's no one in the shop.
There's no one in the shop. It wasn't even in a way of like, oh, I want to help you.
Yeah,
your shadow with me. She didn't say nothing. It was fun. I'm thinking. I even joked. I said, "What do you think we're going to be able to take here? There's only one entrance and exit, and equally, what's on the shop floor might not be my size." Like
exactly.
I was just like, "There's no way that we could have taken this." And you know, there was a conversation where someone said, "Oh yeah, but you know, in Milan, hello, does it look like I'm from Milan?"
Yeah,
like, it doesn't with this British accent. So I just think that curated experience has changed the way that I also think about fashion and how I feel about brands. But equally, that also helped us because we love fashion. These conversations we have about fashion, they made us, like, we got to know about Maya, her family, why she chose to work there. Again, Leonardo, what things that he wants to do.
Yeah.
And like even him wanting to explore content creation or like thinking about styling. Like we had a whole styling session with him and he's new to this, and him being like, you know what, I've never actually thought about this as a career. Like that is part of networking, coaching, and these are connections we'll make for life. Like we've stayed in touch, and that's the difference around luxury fashion. It feels so much more conscious because they take the time to make you feel like, actually, if you're buying this investment piece, does it feel 100% you?
Yeah.
Does it fit 100% the way that you want it to? And can it work with the rest of your wardrobe? And I just love that because there's so many things that they said or they put us in that I've even thought about in my own clothes in terms of shape, silhouette, colours that I wouldn't originally do, length of things. Like the dress, I actually bloody love it, and I really wish I bought it from Loewe. It's something I wouldn't have normally wore, but him putting me in it, I was like, oh my god, it's brought out a different part of my personality that's quite playful, quite flirty, and it feels model-esque. Actually, that's a different route that I'm trying to channel into a lot more, which is like, how can I kind of exist as that runway and show off pieces a lot more, not just as a stylist but as a model as well. And I just love that. So that's my bit around luxury fashion, and you can see how passionate I am about it. But that's
I'm
my
like,
bit.
damn, what else
Sorry,
do I have
sis.
to add
so
to
what
that?
about you in terms of, no, because I know that you also felt quite different. So in terms of luxury fashion and shopping, what was different for you?
I think like what really helped was the product knowledge side. I think because Leonardo and Maya was so, and even the lovely guy from Vivian, I honestly, we didn't
never
get
got his name because we were
which is
literally in
sad.
and out.
But just the product knowledge, them knowing like the fabrics and like how to take care of it, and even again from like what Meg said around just having those really interesting fashion conversations where they've literally met us for, let's say with Leonardo for example, 30 minutes, and then we went into that really cool styling session. He's got a little bit of me, a little bit of Meg, and from that he's also formed what he thinks we would work, what he thinks would work well on us, like based off the little glimpse of personality he got from us, but also our body types. Like the fact that he didn't even ask us what size, like the shoes, yes, but like everything else, he just looked, got it, we tried it and was like, wow, like this isn't actually something I would choose for myself, but it feels so me.
Yeah.
And I think that only comes from, yes, great customer service, but also having the eye for it and also having that product knowledge, because he was literally gone and came back in like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Because
he knew exactly what he wanted to dress both of us in. And I think that's so important, like just knowing the kind of like the mechanics of fashion, like, you know, not only how things work, but like how will it work on someone else.
Yeah, I love.
It's like, you're never going to MOT your own car. You know, someone else that has that knowledge is going to do it for you because they know what to look out for, what are the problems, what's working well. And yeah, just having that experience, I think, was amazing. And I do think that the UK feels a little bit different.
I don't think I've ever had that experience.
Yeah, I feel like in the UK, again, it might be a cultural thing, but sometimes it feels very rushed. It's just like, hi, like, what are you looking for? Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, we just need to get that sell. Whereas there, they were so patient with us. We probably were in Loewe for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Burberry for about an hour. We were in there for a long time, and actually there was no pressure for us to buy anything.
No.
They just really cared about pouring into us and pouring into that experience. So yeah, like what you said, now we've got great connotations for both of those brands, and now we're like, yeah, when we go Paris, whatever next year, it's like, yeah, let's pop into the store.
Yeah.
Because of that great experience that we had. Whereas again with Jill Sander, I don't want to go in their store ever again.
Ever. They couldn't even send us things. But Loewe and Burberry, if you want to send us some stuff, please, there's some things. But that's to do with, like, you know, when we said your personal style, that also comes into it. The brands that you like, that you feel like code with you.
Right.
Like the what do we call it? The jigsaw puzzle, like what slots into you.
Yeah.
And that was it. Those values of what we wear and what we want to buy, they worked. So that's why we went there. And I think that's what you need to ask yourself as well. In the same way that, you know, when people like they boycott certain brands, right? What brands would you be willing to and why?
Yeah.
You know, why would you not buy from that particular place? And I think that's it. Like, we joke about it, but there was a whole thing about obviously Lululemon's owner being racist, yet you're still buying from it. So what is it that your clothes are also saying? I think for me, that's a big thing as well. Like, the more you realize there's power in your purse and it can send messages. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, actually, 100%. I want to hold on to this. I want to be more intentional. And that's kind of where I'm working from.
No, absolutely. And I guess the final thing before we move on, but what we also really notice is that the UK is quite logo driven when it comes to brands.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas in Milan, I feel like it was more subtle. It's like there was a lot of diversity in like the function of their clothes and like how they see it. It's not just, I want people to know that
I'm wearing this
brand. It's like, actually, how does it make me feel? How does it fit into my style? And it just elevates the look. It's like, actually, I didn't see that many logos, but I could just tell you spent some bread.
Yeah.
You could just tell, obviously, Italy's known for like craftsmanship and all of that good stuff anyway. But again, culturally, I think because they're known for it, also people have that in their mindset too. Yeah. So when they are buying clothes, they're really looking for that craftsmanship. So it was nice to see that the style wasn't homogenized at all.
No.
Everyone had their own little flair, and that's what I loved about it. So
that brings us perfectly to the next point. So you're all probably wondering what we meant by people watching. Steph and I, after Giorgio Armani needed food, we hadn't eaten, so we needed food. And we were walking across particular streets. Actually, we'd sat down for a little bit to have like some drinks, and then we thought, before we have to go to this after party that was sponsored by Belvedere, it was Belvedere, wasn't it?
Yeah. Belvedere.
We needed to eat. It made more sense. So we were like, the night is young. When are we ever going to be in Milan again like this? So we decided to eat with the locals. And we sat at this restaurant that has like some other restaurants near it. It was just gorgeous. It kind of gives Portobello Street or like Covent Garden area where you've got like some shops around it, but you've got some outdoor restaurants, like that kind of vibe. And I just felt like we picked the perfect seat and chair. Like we were at the crossroads of like some of the other kind of
mini streets,
and this main street must have been like the core bit of where people like move from.
Yeah.
And we were eating and waiting for our food, and instantly, like once or twice, we thought it was like only going to be like one or two people. Steph, what was it? Oh my God, it was like consistent. It was like conveyor belt.
It was mad.
Of people, and it was just like one after another. It was just like fit after fit after fit after fit, and it was just like, even we got greedy. We were just so excited, and I think we didn't even realize we were people watching as much, and how it was like moving our conversation. It felt like we were watching like a TV series or a program. And I think for me, it just taught me so much. And I know we could talk about this forever, so I'm gonna make sure that I keep to the point, which is, for me, I felt like that people watching, for me, fashion created a world of limitless opportunities. Like a small moment of people watching will stay with me forever. Like I can remember every single person. Yes, I've got photographic memory, but it was how it made me feel. I felt like it had a hum of its own language.
Yeah, it did.
I genuinely feel like the world stopped just for me and you to be watching these people. Like it just felt like an infinite amount of time. And it felt like the people's clothes spoke to us. We spoke to none of these people.
No, we didn't.
But we created
got a little glimpse of who they were.
Yeah, it felt like we created this whole other world of people. And I remember saying to you when we were planning this session super quick, like it almost felt like, you know, when you used to watch cartoons and there'll be objects that have their own life, like in Cinderella when the fairy godmother's putting together her ball gown.
Yeah.
Everything from the string had its own voice, and they're like singing to make her get ready. That's what the streets of Milan felt like that day. And I will never forget this lady's blazer. Oh, really wish I actually spoke to her to ask her, but she was not wearing anything actually much different to what I am, but she had elevated it, and her blazer was sparkly, guys. Like, I don't know if it was glitter, diamantes or whatever, but it literally looked like the night sky. It looked like she had stars in it. And like
it was
the
mad.
elegance of it, how she dressed. She was definitely at a black tie event, and it was just giving that feminine, masculine structure. And then even down to her shoes that looked like sky as well. It was just brilliant from head to toe. And I was just like, I love that piece. And the other one was that lady, the way she layered. She was wearing this like purple chiffon, like silk blouse, this like cut out mesh skirt on top of these like trousers and these like ballet boot, and the way she glided through the street, honestly, it was just nuts. Like she just looked like an angel. Like she glided through, and it was just like, you know, when you watch like Sex in the City and it's like someone walking across the street, that's how she looked like. Did we speak to her? No, we saw her when we were in a car. And it was like little things like that. There was not one person that I saw wearing the same piece of clothing once, and I just thought, we don't see that in London at all. So that's my like takeaway from us. Like, it just challenge yourself more to be as yourself as possible, as uniquely yourself, because it does matter whether you think it doesn't. Those glimpses of people have inspired me to find myself more in my clothes.
And I think, I guess, to add to that, like, how I could describe just the pockets of style in the groups was literally like, you know, you get like a floral arrangement and all the flowers are different, but together they make sense. It's like the same vibe. That's, if I could sum it up, that's literally what it was.
I think chills. No, literally giving me a little bit of chills. Like, that's beautiful stuff. Yeah.
I was like, honestly, this is the most gorgeous bouquet of flowers I've ever seen. And I think sometimes in London, we feel like we all have to be a rose, right? Yeah. Where you get 30 roses. You know, like everyone gets roses are pretty, right? But let's have a little bit of, you know, sprinkling of difference, you know. I think the most beautiful bouquets of flowers are the ones that have all the different elements, but they work together. Yeah. So that we saw lots of groups, let's say wearing the same colour, let's say black, for instance, but the way every single person had styled it, completely different. But it just made sense collectively.
Yeah, like you'd see group of friends and you're like, this just makes sense. Like, it just makes sense.
It makes sense. And I think they have a really strong sense of personal style out there and individuality, which I absolutely love, because fashion is that thing that you can own for yourself. Yeah. You don't have to follow what other people are doing or feel like, you know, you have to be a sheep. Like, let's not have a herd mentality. Let's be the shepherd, not the sheep. All right? Yeah.
And let the choir say amen.
So that's kind of my main kind of like takeaway from the trip. Like, just bloom in all different areas. Don't feel like you just have to be one thing. And don't feel like you have to dress like your friends. And don't feel like, you know, if your friends are going to ostracize you based off how you dress, then you have to think, are they really your friends? Yeah. You know, because you should be able to express yourself freely and not feel like...
Flowers can't bloom where they're not watered.
Right. Exactly. So, with that being said, practical takeaways, Meg?
So my practical takeaway is we all get that feeling we get when we go into someone's house, right? There's like a smell, a certain aura, a feeling that you get. Dress how you want to feel. Yeah. Like, dress really how you want to feel and dress for your moods. Like, I want to dress for my moods. Like, I knew when we went to Milan, I wanted to look delectable. Let's be honest. I said, I want to stand out. Like, I want to stand out. Like, I knew where we were going for work. I wanted to have those opportunities, those scouting opportunities. So I just wanted from head to toe to stand out. And I wanted to feel so much myself and so curated that everything from my hat to my jewelry was intentional and it fit. And I think that's what helped me feel so much more confident. All of you know that I'm autistic, I've got BPD, and I've got really bad social anxiety. I didn't want that to be something that held me back. If anything, I wanted you to approach me because of what I was wearing, and it did its job. And that's exactly what I wanted to bring to London. Dress for how you feel and how you want to feel, your real like mood. Like, who is it you want to be today? Do you want to be a boss? Do you want to be that fashionista? Do you want to be that artist? Do you want to be that sports player? Do you want to be that musician? Do you want to be that teacher? Do you want to be that business owner? Do you want to be that chef? Like, what is it in terms of the function that you play in society that you want to feel and dress for that? Fake it till you make it.
No, 100%.
I don't own £1 billion, but we were dressed like we were made of money, and it was absolutely beautiful. It just took that pressure away of feeling different. Like, yes, there were very, very few black people where we go, but I didn't even think about race once when we were out there. Not once. I didn't think about being black once. I just thought about being that girl, and that's exactly how I want to feel like in London. And if someone doesn't like it, it's not about them. I didn't dress for other people. I dressed for myself to look like that babe.
Yeah.
So that's my takeaway. What about you?
I think, to add on to what you said around like dressing how you feel, like your clothes really are your emotional architecture, right? The way architectures build houses is the same way you should build your style. So I've got a little analogy that I said at dinner one day, and Meg was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good." You have to
it was fantastic. So get your pens and papers out, everybody.
So how I see style is like a house, right? Your house. You've got different elements to a house that make it what it is. So not only do you have the owner, you can buy a house, but it's the owner that actually dictates the look and the feel, as you said before. So for me, you've got like your bricks, the foundations, the walls. These are pieces in your wardrobe that are like your timeless pieces, or pieces that are your staples. So it could be, like for you, it'd be like denim, because she's a denim girl. She loves denim.
Absolutely.
For me, I love jackets, shoes, knits, tops. Those kind of staple pieces that you wear on a day-to-day basis that your outfit kind of starts from. Then you have like the windows and like your light furnishes in your house. So these are like the little statement pieces that you can have in your wardrobe, a way for people to look into you, to express your personality a little bit more. Any little kind of little trinkets of your style, you know, if you're someone that likes colour, having colourful accessories. Or Meg, she loves playful nails. These would be her lights and her windows, because it gives you an insight into what Meg is probably like as a person. And then finally, you've got like your furnishings. So you've got like any accessories, your furniture, all the little finishing touches that add kind of the look and the feel and the vibe to the room. So yeah, your accessories, your jewelry, all of that good stuff. Anything that's like adds the cherry on top to an outfit. So if you build kind of your fashion house, your wardrobe in that way, it's going to make sense.
Yeah.
It's going to make sense. You never go into your friend or family's house and you don't understand the vibe of the house. You just get it. And that's how your style should be. Because I think, if you start looking at your clothes from that point of view, then anywhere you go, people are going to know what the house of Meg looks. I get it.
Because we don't copy things in people's houses.
We don't copy things in people's houses.
We don't want it to look exactly the same.
No. And like,
why would you want your clothes to do that?
Exactly. I think a lot of the time when people like decorate their houses, yes, there might be elements that are kind of like the trend at the time, but it's not super trend led. Like you buy things that you actually like, you know, and like the mood you want it to give off. And that's the same mindset you've got to have to your clothes as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, tap into a trend here and there, but your whole wardrobe shouldn't be trendy.
Absolutely. So. And I think the last thing that me and Steph said is the girlies don't wear heels no more.
Yes.
They don't wear heels.
Wear your heels.
Wear your heels. Oh my God. The whole way through Milan, we did not wear a single flat shoe. And this is just to remind us that we're young, we're sexy, and we're fit, and we should be wearing them heels. Wear heeled boots. Wear them platform trainers. Look good. One thing in Milan, with their copperly floor, bearing in mind, their floor is not fit for be wearing heels, but not a single person did. They don't wait for special occasions. Like, dress up, wear your things, because you're never going to be this young again. So that's my only other thing of like, one thing that I'm taking away is there's every day is an occasion to get dressed up. I always dress up for work as well, like, and I want to, because we don't get as many premises to leave the house. Like, you know, most of us work hybridly. Most people, when they celebrate, they're doing like toned down things and all of that stuff. Even when we go on holiday, we're wearing sandals. Nope. Wear your heels.
To downstairs for the all-inclusive.
Yeah, for your all-inclusive. I remember when I used to go on holiday, wear them heels to go downstairs. Yeah. Like, literally, wear your stuff. Don't be afraid of doing the most. Like, you create your universe. Like, you create your narrative. Like, imagine you are in a TV show and someone else is narrating your life. Like, what do you want your message and your story to be? And mine is that I lived in my most authentic self, and equally that when my kids and my grandkids look back, they're like, wow, like, Grammy was like that girl. And equally, like, that's how I want to exist free. Don't be a prisoner to society because society wants us all to assimilate. Like, dare to be different, like be the black sheep, and there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, I can't wait to be wearing my heels.
No, 100%. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. You've literally just taken everything out of my brain. But yeah, like Meg said, don't be afraid to dress up. Okay?
Yeah, don't.
Even if you're going to Asda or Tesco, wear heels. Why not? Who actually told you can't do that? Because we saw so many people in Milan wearing heels to the shop.
It's nuts. Like just a normal H&M down the road, and I said, yeah. Absolutely, like it was just amazing. So that's our only bit to you. And without further ado, we're at the end of our episode again. Guys, this has been so amazing, and we really hope that you enjoyed hearing from our little trinkets from Milan. Like, Milan was so special for us, and we're so passionate about it. And I think if you can, and you've got the money to do so, you don't need to just go for Milan Fashion Week. Just go into Milan or other cities that, you know, feel very different will be amazing, because sometimes you need external factors to make you feel inspired again.
100%. So look at your wardrobe. Is your house in order? Does it have those bricks? Does it have the light? And does it have those furnishings?
As always, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and share with new audiences so we can reach more people. And if you like this, don't worry, we will put some links down below. And you can also find Steph and I's dumps on our Instagram and at Slowly Stitch. So if you want to see what we did when we went to Milan, then you can follow us there.
Amazing. And always remember that the best fashion statement you can make is by staying true to yourself. Until next time.
Bye. See you later.